Got it. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our breakthrough session, presentation of student learning. Super excited to have you guys here. We've got a really jam-packed agenda with some students that are doing some incredible work that we'd like to share with you. Something that I'll say moving forward about one of our goals as an organization is making more intentional space for our K-8 educators. They are in our network, and there's a lot of folks that want to engage in the K-8 space. So on behalf of Big Picture Learning, we're really moving forward. We're going to make space for it in all of our conferences. So this came about anyways. I was able to reach out to two people. I just want to give a shout out real quick. The adults that respond and a million things that they're doing respond to my craziness when I reach out to them. So big shout out to Gabrielle Logan, who's the principal of Beyond the Box. Friend, ally for several years now. And big shout out to Denise Lund over at Highland School. And I pretty much reached out to both these gals and said, listen, I'm trying to find some K-8 representation around student learning. I'd love to, can you recommend anybody? And within minutes, they came up with nominations. And so here we are. So without further ado, maybe I hand it to you, to the ladies first, so they can introduce their student. So our first student is Javier Alconini. Alconini. Am I saying that right? Castillo?
It's Alconini.
Oh, Alconini. Okay. Well, I'm gonna let Denise talk a little bit about you. And yes, Denise, welcome.
Thanks for having us. So Javier started in our first ever sixth grade launch, and this next year he and I will be hanging out in eighth grade space. And Javier is a really driven student. He figures out what he wants to do, and he works diligently and passionately towards it. He's got a lot of varied interests. And he's also super agreeable and helpful to everybody else in our advisory. So he's just a great human being to spend time with. And so I'm glad you all get to see him today.
Okay, Javier, you can grab the microphone. It's yours.
Okay, let's start this. Let me screen share. Okay, let's get this started. Excited. This year, for me, I decided to share a project, and this year I decided to start modeling in Blender, 3D modeling, and start to make increasingly complex models. And here is my asset timeline, and I'll open that for you guys, which is a document for all my models I've documented over the past few months. So these are all the models I documented for the past few months I made, from the very first model I made to the newest one back in June.
Javier, we're seeing your script right now. Can you switch to your asset timeline?
Oh yeah, it's on Microsoft. Forgot. Yeah, it's not on Google. There it is. There, now you should be able to see it now. Let's scroll all the way. So this is my 3D asset timeline. It's a span about 4 months, from all the way back to January, from my first model to all the way to June where that was my last model I documented. And these are all my models right here. And the donuts will be especially special. It'll be included more later. And I'll scroll down so you can look nicely at them. Get a nice look at them. All these models I did them for a reason. And that's the last one from June. And if we go to the scripts, like I said, the donuts will be really important later. Building concepts, what allowed me following this passion of me 3D modeling. It all started back in late December, when I was asked by one of my friends at school, who asked me to help him make a game in Roblox, and he asked me if I could do the model. I'm like, oh, sure, that seems pretty cool. So since it already came with Roblox Studio, and when I first got it, I had no idea what I was doing. I was sort of just like just navigating randomly, just lost. I was wandering, and but there's a lot of things not that I didn't like about it. There was not a lot of tutorials to help me understand what I was doing. I could not figure out. I could really not figure out anything, and I got bored very quick because I was just staring at my screen for a long time. And so I decided to switch to Blender, which I've seen a lot around YouTube. And I like this a lot more since there's a lot more tutorials to follow, and it really helped me understand Blender more. And I saw these cool models they were making. I wanted to get involved with it, so I decided to put my full focus on Blender. How and what. For me, the way I always start a model is I usually always get a reference photo from Google. Depends what I'm gonna model. Like, let's say I'm gonna make some car or something like that. I always try to find a reference model of a car. Then usually, then I find a reference photo, and so in the reference what the reference photo is used for is I usually use it to so I can get the scale right, so I don't misscale an object and make it too big or too small and make it look weird. And from that point on, I usually model. I don't really follow a certain process of modeling since usually the process varies on the model you're doing. Each model is different, so each process is going to be different from the other. And if I ever were to struggle with a model, I always stick to very recognizable models of simple objects like maybe a donut or a car or maybe a sword maybe, because those are very easy to find on YouTube and then find tutorials for if I were to struggle on these models. I wanted to find a workflow for Blender and do it consistently. I put on my learning plan and tracked using the advisory habit tracker, which is right here. This is my learning plan for this year. And here
Javier, can you show us your learning plan? Right now we're seeing your asset timeline.
Oh, wait, keep forgetting it's not on the same one. It's on, wait, there it is. Yeah, keep forgetting it's on Microsoft, it's on Google. Sorry, very sorry. So this is my learning plan right here from all the way back, I think, second cycle, second cycle around that. And here, this is where I got my inspiration for my first model, which was Roman concrete. And I got inspired to make some Roman-like buildings, And here, here's my learning plan. And this is what I got in it.
Yeah, can you zoom in just a little bit?
Zoom in?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a little bit small. Folks aren't able to see that.
That better?
Yeah, a little bit better.
Okay, I'll actually zoom in more.
Okay, cool.
There.
That's good.
Yeah. So this is my learning plan. Now you can get a better look at it. This is what I did for like maybe 3 cycles ago, maybe. This is where it all started, really, from here. Okay, I'm gonna go back to the.
And now we're seeing your script again.
My script again. Ah, yeah. And this really is a pain. Yeah, we want to go back to the scripts. March and April habit tracker that shows I'm best at dedicating my work to Blender, since this is data usually covers a month length time, and usually most of the time I work on Blender. Sometimes it varies. Sometimes I work on it 15 minutes. Sometimes I could work to 1 to 2 hours, varying on how much time I have at the time. In May, I decided to collect screenshots that shows my evidence as my growth in June exhibition to evaluate progress in my June exhibitions. I evaluate my progress as significant progress. I justify this evaluation because my asset timeline shows screenshots of my builds, including my very first build from all the way back in January, which I can show you right now if you want to see it. Then to make it more complex models, my first building was a Roman Colosseum, and this was in fact not made in Blender. It was made all the way back in Roblox Studio, but I don't have any screenshots for it, and I deleted Roblox, and so I sort of lost it. Sorry about that. But I built a Roman Colosseum that was inspired from my 6th grade interest in Roman history and a lot of Roman concrete. But I never really got far, so never really got far. I got this whole idea, from the sixth grade. We had a social reason to go for ancient civilizations, and everyone chose it. Everyone chose their own ancient civilization. I chose mine for Roman. I chose mine for the Roman civilization, and I did this as an independent passion project on Roman technologies. I liked Roman concrete. I liked the way it was built, and I liked how it was a lot more stronger than the average concrete. Unique mix, used volcanic ash. Interesting. Lasted a lot more longer than regular concrete. You know, and this is how I chose my first subject on my first build. I did abandon this project, like I said. It got very short-lived, like maybe like a week or so. And this resulted me in and I didn't really had no plan. I was just try to model as much as I can. Only got a bit of it done, and I just didn't know what to do next. I just stared at my screen for 30 minutes, and I was not getting anything done. So I just thought, yeah, this is not going anywhere. So I gotta move on. I gotta move on. So I decided to move on. And, my second model was a donut. It was a donut. The frosting was the most complicated part of the model. It cost me a lot of my time. The skills I learned included vertices in face and extruding. Here is, the site for it, as you see here. Wait, that's small. Wait, zoom in for you guys. I'm pretty sure it's on. Yeah, there it is. See it? So this is my first attempt right here. I had a problem with it because I accidentally left a certain thing on called snapping. And I don't know why it did this, but if I were to try to, adjust it, it would just start going all over the place. And I could show you right now with Blender right now, which I've opened right now. If I can, let's open up Blender itself.
Javier, real quick, just for my knowledge, because I really don't understand. Can you let me know what Blender is?
Blender is? Oh yeah, sorry for that. Blender is like a 3D modeling software for, building 3D models like this.
Okay,
And
gotcha.
yeah, it's like that. You just it's a software to build 3D models. And I'll show you why it was doing this. If I can go to my Blender files and find the bad one. Like I did end up fixing the frosting, but I can show you what was happening with it was making it so haywire. It's loading in, so it's gonna take a bit. It's loading in the model. This is taking quite a bit of time. There you go. Okay, so take that off, turn this on. So now it's fixed, but if I were to go in here and see this icon right here called snapping, it's nicknamed Snappy if you hover over it. And if I were to grab a vertex right here, which is it covers a certain area, like it controls a specific area of the model. That's how a vertex works. And if I were to try to move it on the z-axis, which is up, it would just start going haywire. Like, look at it. It would start disappearing. And for some reason, it would select other vertices, which would result in it, start glitching and stuff. I have no idea why it was doing this. And, and I tried to fix it, desperate trying to fix it. I was like moving all these vertices around, which would make it unorganized, a mess. And when I was messing around trying to figure out a solution, I just saw this on. I just turned it off, and this happened. Move it up. Now it moves neatly up without, going all haywire. It can move neatly up now without, disappearing or having any issues. Now you can neatly, mess with the frosting. And, this was my first attempt. I ended up redoing it because I was not happy how this first one ended up. So this is where my pink version came in. Oh, wait, I opened the wrong one. There it is. It's loading in. And here it is. So don't worry about that. That's just coloring. We don't have to worry about. This is the result of me fixing all my problem with it. As you can see here, it's way more better. Like it's not glitching through. If I try to move it around like this, it would just. Also, you don't see anything. It's only frosting stuff. And with this problem fixed, I could move on to the next step, like adding the sprinkles. Unfortunately, that came with home problems as well. I did not fix this because I didn't want to. And this something went wrong with the particle system here. I didn't really understand it, so I probably did something wrong. I don't know what. I haven't touched it since, and I couldn't put it on the frosting like a normal person, so I was forced to go for unique version, I guess you would say, and put it here, which I guess people never put, because why would you put sprinkles on this part of a donut? And that's the that's how the donut went.
Incredible.
And let's move on back to the script. Just hopefully I picked the right screen this time. There you go. Okay. And I spent a significant amount of trial and error to build each model. Like one example, we did the donut. Like we just covered that. The problems that went with it, how it was all fine until I tried to layer it. Like this is just a writing version of it, of me trying to say in person, but I didn't like that, so I decided to say in person. And to put all these files in, I got recommended. Originally, where I was going to put all these screenshots was going to be in Google Slides, and originally I didn't like that because it was super messy. So my older sister Stephanie, who is a BP high schooler, told me to put bullet points in my timeline, but also told me about Google Sites, which is the website you can see right here, which I'm using right now. And this website is way better than Google Slide. They have I think it's a way for me to organize my pictures well, create specific paragraphs. I think it was really easy. It was not that hard to create this timeline. I found it really fun. And and let's move on. And this is relevant to my interests and passions. These projects are relevant because I use because the reason they're relevant to my project, because without Blender, I could not make these projects. There's sort of be nothing, no project, no screenshots to show. So it's pretty important to have something to model with.
Right.
I choose this platform and I made this goal in my learning plan. And this goal of 3D assets is to keep evolving and gain more skills and try to do more complex projects with a lot more a lot more smaller details, which are typically harder to add. I am currently working on 2 complex models that I have completed, but I just not have time to put them in my timeline. And I'm investigating. I'm getting involved with a new thing called rendering. And if I could show you Blender right now about the rendering. Sorry about that, taking a bit. Okay, back to Blender. And here we can, I can't share it. That's weird. Okay. Let me try that again. Wait, I think I can do it now. There you go. Okay, so now you have this. This is a good example of one of my more complex models right here. I have no idea. It's one of those, this just what come out of your mind. And, if I were to press here, also to see this rendering is, sorry if it looks like it's loading in. It's designed to make it better than it's supposed to be. It's basically just like Instagram with like angles and lighting and stuff. But basically it's just this lighting and rendering and using specific shadow engine, which I use as cycles, which is this 1 out of 2 shadow engines. And I use this to, make the models better than they actually are. They just look better. Just make the eye go. Just make them look appealing. And, this is pretty interesting. Pretty fun to do, like set up the lighting and stuff. To set up the lighting, and yeah, that's how the rendering works.
And Javier, we have about 1 minute left. Can you tell us like how this project connected to your bigger goals?
Yeah,
the last piece.
This learning experience benefits me because, one, I have something to do throughout the day, and it's something I'm excited to do daily. And I could do this. I could do this as a future career. And one idea I have is airplane engineering, since I have an interest into engineering, and I also have interest in airplanes as well. And where I can build, and in these jobs, airplane engineering, I can build models, and I can build models to understand and solve airplane crashes, which I didn't know how to do something. I had to figure out by searching tutorials and teaching myself. I showed off my project builds as I was to my advisory class when I finished them. I think these are like the first 3 ones. I just stopped showing it because I don't know. This project benefits other people because I could make models for them and make models of them if they're a game dev or they're doing something with coding or something like that. I can, and it's used it's used what I'm good at to help others in their independent in their other people's independent projects. That's the end.
Nice. Everybody give a round of applause for Javier, man. Thank you so much for coming through, sharing a little bit. Incredible designing skills. I mean, it's so intricate about the number of skills that you're developing, my friend. Want to open up the space for folks to ask Javier if you have any questions.
Yeah, ask any questions you have.
Yeah, any of the different aspects of what he's learning. Please unmute yourselves.
I wanted to ask Javier, let me turn my camera on. What do you feel like you learned about how you learn from doing this?
I didn't really understand that question.
Like, you seem to be using a lot of different ways to learn skills that you don't understand. What have you picked up that you can pass on to other teachers or students to help them out when they're learning a new skill?
I could tell them that, learn the very basics first. Like there's something that are very basic, like scaling, edit mode, all that stuff. Because, these things set up, because these simple things can set up to bigger projects. Because without edit mode, you wouldn't be able to add all these intricate details. Teach them the very basic controls. Because all this.
Are you learning these from a community or just from YouTube videos, or?
Mostly from YouTube, actually, because I don't think a lot of people are doing modeling. So.
That's amazing.
Hey, Javier, I'm just blown away by what you know and are able to do. And it's not a strength of mine. And I'm wondering if you learned how to dive into something unknown by yourself through your advisory, or has that been how you have learned for a long time?
For me, it's mostly just me just exploring YouTube and just looking for videos that really help me out because I don't know if they could help me or not.
Uh-huh. That's how I learn, because I have to see things. I can't learn from reading stuff. I have to see it. And so YouTube helps me with that. That's remarkable. Thank you.
Javier, have you considered adding your own tutorial how-to videos for tricks that you found out on Blender just to help other learners?
I'm not sure because I'm not a great teacher. I don't really trust myself teaching other people.
One more follow-up question. Do you know, does Blender have animation capabilities? So
yeah, they have animation capability, but I just haven't touched on that because it seems very complicated.
That's next year, right? Next year animation.
Maybe.
That's the next level. That's next level. Javier, thank you so much. Another round of applause for Javier, please. Thank you so much, my friend. All right. So on the next check-in, I'm going to hand it over to my wonderful friend, Gabrielle, who is the principal of Beyond the Box Education out in Barbados. Lovely weather in Barbados right now. Gabby, you want to come in and introduce your student, introduce your advisor?
Sure. So I'm Gabby. Unfortunately, I'm not in Barbados right now. My other Gabby Lopez.
And I just wanted to show everybody the beach.
There's the beach.
There's the beach for everybody.
Yes.
For
Barbados,
all of you guys
stand up.
stuck inside, we're outside. We're very lucky. So Bentley came to us this year after living in, Bentley, correct me if I'm wrong, but 3 different countries already?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So Bentley moved to Barbados. His mom works with the UN, so he's had the privilege of living in a lot of different places. And something that we found out about Bentley right off the bat is that he is very worldly and enjoys that. He enjoys learning about the world around him, history, current affairs, news. He's very knowledgeable and he just wants to know more all the time. So when we open up a space for him to choose an interest of his, that he wanted to speak to everyone about that he's been working on this school year. He said, history, please. But I will let Gabby tell you a little bit more about his selection process, and then we'll hand it right over to him.
So in keeping with everything that our school believes in, every term our kids obviously do projects for each subject, and well, you know, and major ones and mini ones, and this term, you know, after Bentley was selected for this, I said, I'm sure you've learned so many amazing things this term. Let's talk about what's something that what was a learning experience that you really, really enjoyed? And, you know, he had so much, he goes, I have to think about it, you know, and I gave him some time to think about it. And one thing that really stuck out to him was his history. History at that age level is something that, you know, we don't see it across Barbados, and it was really, really amazing to see him so interested in history. And he explained to me why, and I'll let him explain also why he chose history. You know, as a young child traveling so many places, he obviously picks up some interest in where he's been and what is around him and what is the history of the stuff around him. So I'll let Bentley, I won't take all of your information, Bentley, I'll leave you to it. And yeah, so enjoy, everybody.
Thank you so much.
Yourself, Bentley.
Hello, my name is Bentley Alexander Goddard, and I am doing a presentation on the Arawaks and the Carobs. The Arawaks and the Carobs. The Arawaks and the Carobs were a Amerindian tribe that lived in the Caribbean. The Caribbean is named after the Carobs. The meaning of Carob is cannibal. This is the video I had to do I did this for my project this year. This is a video I made on YouTube with my father, and I did video editing. I hope you enjoy.
Hey, Bentley, do you know how to share sound on that video?
Mommy.
He needs technical assistance.
Bentley, I think you just need to unmute. If you unmute, we should be able to hear it.
Yeah. Push play again, bud.
Oh.
No?
No. Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Stop screen sharing, and then start again. And when you do it this time, just make sure you click the little button that says share music.
They can
Yeah.
Sorry.
So Laura, we were just getting some instructions. So when he reshares his screen, you said click the button that says share music, right?
Yeah, there's a little
share sound
that says, yeah.
Got it. Really sorry about that. I walked away to grab a photo. That was
no problem.
Mom.
No problem.
Hello, today I'm going to be talking about the Carobs and the Arawaks, an Amerindian tribe from South America that migrated up to the Caribbean islands. The Arawaks were an Amerindian group which lived on Barbados and some of the other islands in the Lesser Antilles. The Carobs, on the other hand, lived mainly on the east coast of Dominica, and they would paddle their boats all the way down the Caribbean islands to raid Arawak villages. When they raided the villages, what they would do is that they would kill all the men and bring back the the women and children as wives, and the children to be trained as fighters. The Arawaks were a peaceful hunting and farming community. They farmed cassavas, sweet potato, and other vegetables. They hunted fish in the swamps that used to be on many of the islands. To this day, there's still a big swamp in the middle of the island here in Barbados where the Arawaks used to go hunting. And they would hunt a lot less than the Carobs would, because the Carobs didn't have very good farming, but they were very, very good hunters and fishers, because they used their boats to go fishing, and then they would hunt from Dominica any animals, land animals like frogs, goatees. One of the interesting things that they didn't do, however, was they didn't eat pigs, because they thought if they ate an animal, they would get the power of that animal. So they wouldn't eat pigs, because they thought they would get small beady eyes, because the Carobs had very big eyes. So they didn't eat animals like pigs, manatees, or animals with small beady eyes. Then they would eat fast animals and strong animals so that they could be fast, strong, and furious. So, about their story from South America, they came from the Amazon River Basin. They went up South America, making it to Trinidad, and then finally making it here to Barbados. One of the interesting things is that there are still Carobs in East Dominica, about 200 Carobs, and they have their own small villages where they actually lived for hundreds of years. And the government of Dominica has kept those areas protected because they want to keep the Carob culture alive. The Arawaks all died out when the British and Spanish and French arrived in the other Caribbean islands. The Arawaks did populate more Caribbean islands, but the Carobs were much more dangerous hunters and fishers, and they were very furious people. The men were trained they were taken away from them, the boys were taken away from their mothers when they were 4, and they were trained to be a hunter and a very strong fisher and to be very furious. And the Carobs would have these ways where when they were 14 or 15, they would cut their faces and put salt in the wound, and if they flinched, they would have to try it the next year. But they would only have about 2 to 3 years to try this, or they get killed. The Arawaks they didn't do the same sort of thing. They didn't exactly kill the person if they didn't do it well enough. They would just throw them out of the village. Then they would have to fend for themselves. And there are still ruins of villages here in Barbados, in the north and actually in the east. So there's one around St. Andrew, and then there's another one in St. Philip. Thank you for listening to this presentation. I would love it if you listen to more things like this. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that, Bentley. Can everybody hear me?
Yes, yes.
Thanks, Bentley. And just a quick note, Ben. I know you have more to present, but can you tell everybody what were you asked to do? Like, where did the video come from? Why did you make the video, or what was the question that was asked that caused you to make the video? And there's something you really enjoyed doing while making the video with Dad, right? So can you tell everybody what you learned from also making that video?
What I learned the most was actually video editing, because I didn't know how to video edit before, and the video editing for this video was very fun. And yeah, the reason I did this was because my history teacher told me to do a video on the Arawaks and the Carobs. So I did this video on the Arawaks and the Carobs. And yeah, I was actually supposed to do 2 videos of one about the Arawaks and one about the Carobs, but I put them together and it was longer.
Okay, you can continue. So you can continue to share. I know you have some other awesome things to share.
You share screen? The Arawaks and the Carobs lived in the Lesser Antilles. The Lesser Antilles are, as you can see in this picture, the Lesser Antilles are the smaller islands in the Caribbean, including various islands like Barbados, Dominica, Grenada, Trinidad, and more. I was talking about in the video, they came from the Amazon River Basin because they came from the tribes in South America. They migrated up to Trinidad, then made it all the way to the other islands in the Lesser Antilles and all of the Greater Antilles as well. What did the Arawaks and Carobs eat? So this is a project I did at school. One day we were gonna do history class, and then we made pepper pot and cassava bread, which was a delicacy in Carob and Arawak cultures. The pepper pot was basically whatever meat or fish they caught and cut up and put it in the pot. So it's basically like a cooking pot on a stove or fire. And the cassava bread was made out of cassava flour, which the women would grind and get all of the poison out. Where are they today? As I was saying in the video, the Arawaks died out firstly because of the Carobs invading up, and then the Europeans came and finished them off. And the Carobs, on the other hand, still have this territory in Dominica. The government made this territory in Dominica, and there are 2,000 Carobs. I got that fact wrong in the video. It isn't 200, it's 2,000 Carobs in this area. The blue area is all of the villages where the Carobs live. And the actual name is the Kalingos, because the Carobs just means cannibals. From these lists, choose at least 4 words that you think come from the Arawak or Carob languages. So this is supposed to be like an activity where you pick words words that you think that come from the.
Bentley, do you want me to choose a volunteer for you?
Yes.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna choose Carrie. Carrie, go.
All right. I'm picking 4.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hammock.
Yeah.
Smoke. Cayman, and let's see, hurricane.
Okay. This is the next page. You got hammock, you got hurricane, and Cayman. Smoke is not a Arawak or Carib word, but hammock, hurricane, and Cayman are. And tree, fish, tomato, horse, grass, blanket, baby, smoke, wood, bread, leaf, rock, plant, and bowl are not. And then all of the words that are hammock, hurricane, maize, tuna, Cayman, tobacco, canoe, and barbecue. So yeah. So even though they died out, they still have words in English that come from the languages.
Awesome. Bentley, is that the end of your presentation, or
Yes,
do you have
it
another
is.
slide?
It
I thought
is
so.
the end of it.
Perfect. Okay, awesome. Well done, Bentley. That was really
Well
great.
done.
Thank
Well
you.
done, Bentley. Everybody
Thank
give a
you.
round of applause for Bentley. All right. Let's open it up, folks. Any questions, comments for Bentley?
Bentley, what video editing software did you use to do your video?
Again, it was Luna. It was like a free one similar to iMovie.
Awesome.
Awesome. You did a great job. Thanks so much for sharing.
Thank you for watching.
Bentley, I considering that you've lived in a couple different countries, I'm curious if you did any projects like this to understand the history of the indigenous people in that country, or if this is new to your current.
This is actually kind of new because I haven't done like projects on it, but I have researched it before. Like the Native Americans in Canada, because my mom's from Canada.
Bentley, we've got 2 questions in the chat. Son, can I ask them? Can I ask
Yes.
them? Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Cool. All right. So Bentley, one of the questions is, what are the challenges of the Carib people now? So you mentioned there's still 2,000 of them in a small area in Dominica. Do you know any of the struggles that they still have, or no?
Say that again. I didn't.
Do you know of any challenges that the Caribs have today, like the modern day Caribs?
No, I didn't go that far into
the future. That's okay. The other question was, are you going to use these new skills that you've learned in the future, and how?
I want to do video editing for. I'd like to, on my YouTube channel, I'm going to use video editing to make better videos, and probably maybe I'll try animation someday.
Okay. Do you want to tell everyone really quick what your YouTube channel is, just so we can find you?
My YouTube channel is called Bentley's Adventures. If you search that up, you can find, it's the first one that comes up, and it's a purple bee. You can see science videos and history and one about geography. Actually, 2 about geography.
I actually had a question.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, there's one in the chat, but I'll let you go first. Go ahead.
So Bentley, I had a question. So in doing this history project and even your history throughout the term, did you find that there were any correlation, any similarities to other places where you've lived? Did you find out that there were Carib or Arawak populations anywhere else that you lived? Did you find out anything else about anywhere else that you lived in the meantime?
Actually, I did find out, since they came from the Amazon River Basin, I did find out about that because they came from South America. They must have come from somewhere. So I thought the Amazon River Basin, and the Amazon River Basin is where I used to live. I used to live in Brazil, so I know a lot about the Amazon River Basin.
Excellent.
Hey, Bentley, Loretta just shared as well that there's a big Carib population in Belize. So she's just dropping a little bit of that.
Cool.
Just wanted to share that with you. And Kate asked the question, how much for this project, how much time did it take you from beginning to end?
It only took me around, so I did the video, it took me 7 minutes. We did some editing to cut out some of the parts because I did some things that.
But like time, like in like filming, learning in class, making pepper pot, how long was it?
I did the editing, it took me around 30, 40 minutes.
For the editing piece?
But I did only do the whole video in one take. So.
Oh. Okay. Okay. A little bit of a flex there. I appreciate that. I did that one take Bentley. All right. I like that. Other questions? Other questions for Bentley?
Bentley, I might have a question for you.
Yes.
So we were talking about how this is an interest of yours. Can you tell us about why history itself is an interest of yours? Like why you find all these things interesting? I said a little bit, but I want you to answer it.
Well, I like history because I travel around the world because my mom works for the United Nations, and I want to know a bit more about the culture and how the countries I live in begun and what happened in the world before I came in.
Why is that important?
I find it important because it helps people and everybody like predict the future.
That was deep. Bentley. You got one last comment. Lisa says Bentley is fascinated with the bigger picture, which makes sense. I think they're connected. All right. So last round of applause for Bentley, y'all. Much love to you, my friend. You did an excellent job. Much love to Javier as well. Is he still on here? Javier, big shout out, round of applause for Javier as well for presenting and sharing his design. Listen, I want you, both of you to know this. This is the first time we've ever had a K-8 sort of focus, and we had middle school students share a bit of their learning in this capacity. So you guys are trailblazers. So I hope you feel good about that. And the fact that your staff members, your principal and your advisors identified you to come represent at an international conference, that's pretty big, my friend. Hope you guys put this on your YouTube channel because we are recording this. And if you want to keep it on your portfolio, you definitely can. So
thank you.
No problem.
I may put it on my YouTube channel.
Okay, that's right. Well, as soon as we download it, I'll share it with your advisor and your principal, okay?
Okay,
all right. Folks, again, we're a learning organization. If you could give us some feedback on this session, we'd greatly appreciate it. Casey, if you have the link to the feedback form, if you could just drop that so folks can give us a little feedback, we really appreciate it. Ladies and gentlemen, that is it. We thank you so much for taking your time and coming to check out some of the incredible student learning examples that we're able to present here. So we've got one more session left with our Friends tent. That's going to be starting very soon. We hope folks are able to check that out. We got this ed tech thing going on. We have the Advent project, the reinvention lab, a lot of options for our last session for today. So make sure you check it out. And thank you so much.